The Poco X2, which has finally started selling here, is actually the Redmi K30, released 2 months back in China in December of last year. The Redmi K30 and Poco X2 are the exact same phone, the only difference being the absence of NFC on the X2. Apart from that, both have the exact same specs and build quality. The Phoenix Red variant here has the looks and feel of a premium phone, and the 6.67 inches is the tallest midranger in this budget price range. It is most probably the heaviest 16K device at the moment, weighing in at 208 grams due to the large metal and glass design. Though it has good weight distribution and the build quality seems to be strong in my usual trial bend and looks like will pass the bend test coming up later in the video. The provided free case in the box reminds me of the ones given by Vivo and should do a good job in scratch and drop protection. But we will be later drop testing the Poco X2 without any kind of protection. The features of the X2 are awesome, like the 64 megapixel Sony IMX 686 quad cameras, 20 megapixel dual cutout selfie cameras, 120Hz reality flow display, wideband L1 certification to stream HD content, Corning glass, Wi-Fi calling, liquid cooling system, and a 27 watts charger in the box to name a few. But how is the actual performance and build quality of the Poco X2, also called as Redmi K30? Let's find out in this video. Before starting with the tests, let's have a quick 30-second heavy gaming review of the Poco X2 for those of you also looking for great performance along with premium looks and features. The Poco X2, same as the Realme X2, has the 8nm Qualcomm Snapdragon 730G processor, where G stands for gaming, clocked at 2.2 GHz in combination with the Adreno 618 GPU, and both devices defaults at high graphics settings in Pubg. The liquid cool technology of the Poco X2, coupled with 6 GB of RAM on the base variant, means less frame drops and lag for a smooth gameplay experience. The Redmi K30 or Poco X2 is definitely recommended for heavy gamers and users. Next up in the scratch test, to test out the scratch resistant capabilities of this Corning tempered glass protection provided by the brand on both sides by rubbing it with common atoms found in pockets and the blade of a heavy duty box cutter. The blade does a fine job of differentiating between good quality glass protection from the poor quality ones found on some budget devices. Like for example, good quality glass on the level of Corning and even basic Corning glass on the cheapest of budget devices are easily able to survive the blade abuse. But on the other hand, there are examples of some budget devices with pre-applied screen protectors not able to handle the blade and have failed the test. As expected, like all other Mi devices, Poco has given us genuine Corning glass protection on the X2 and it passes my scratch test with the superior scratch resistant capabilities expected of Corning. Next up, testing out the audio quality and loudness of the bottom firing external speakers on the left in the sound test. The sound quality of the Poco X2 is actually one of the best at the moment due to its loudness, and at the same time, the fineness of sound and the audio clarity is also really good. Corning claims that its tempered glass protection is unbreakable 80% of the time when drop tested from a height of 1.6 meters. So in this drop test, let's find out if this is true or not by drop testing the Poco X2 from different angles starting from pocket height. It should be interesting to see if the camera unit survives the drop abuse, since the camera bump is quite significant and juts out to quite an extent. As you can see, there is a slight bit of discoloration and dirt at the contact point on the polycarbonate edge, but other than that, the phone is fine. Now let's complete the rest of the drops from pocket height. After 5 hard drops from pocket height, amazingly the Poco X2 is still intact. No damage other than some discoloration and dirt marks at the contact points. Now continuing the drop test from a height of 1.6 meters from different angles. The dual glass design and aluminum metal midframe has done a marvelous job in handling the hard drops on marble, but the polycarbonate edge has helped absorb most of the shocks with some discoloration and without any dents. The 208 grams Poco X2 passes my drop test surprisingly without a single crack on the Corning glass, though it's better to be safe than sorry and is recommended to use total protection for complete peace of mind. Next up, moving on to fun stuff with value. The bench test will give you a clear picture about the structural integrity and actual build quality of devices and pushes brands to make stronger builds. In recent times, Xiaomi, Poco and Redmi devices have managed to give us much improved and stronger builds compared to older devices which had either suffered total structural failure or suffered some kind of damage. And as you can see, things appear to be going in the same positive direction for Xiaomi. The Poco X2 does suffer from a big amount of flex from the bend test from both the display and backside, with a superficial cracking sound from the first bend since there was no damage suffered. Poco has managed strong build quality and design with the combination of a metal, dual glass and polycarbonate side design and passes my bend test, making it a well recommended device in the premium mid-range segment at budget pricing with premium specs, features and solid build.